Hello everybody and welcome back to not really an F1 2021 My Team video, but a mid-season update. So we're going to go through a few things that have changed from the last two races that we've done because they didn't go very well. And some other just general things. We're now mid-season of Season 2. So first of all, Leclerc no longer wanted to be with us, as you may have seen in the last video. So we have Lando Norris now, and Leclerc has moved to Alfa Romeo, strangely. So he's going back to Ferrari, sort of, but not quite. Even though Ferrari have changed stuff. Yeah, Leclerc, because our PR department wasn't grade 2, it was the only thing that we had that wasn't grade 2, he said, cheerio, lads, and disappeared. Went to Leclerc, he wouldn't let us renegotiate the contract. I then had to do some bidding, of course, with McLaren to get Lando Norris. Back in F1 2019, the game, not the season, if drivers changed teams, the points went with them. So, for example, in 2019, I was with the Haas team, because that was back when Haas were good. They're good again now. I'm recording this on the 21st of March, when I know this is like a month ago, but so we've just had the first race of 2022. That was back when they were sort of good, and I replaced Magnussen, who's come back and been fucking amazing this year, was ready to move Grosjean, as they used to call him, but now I know, of course, he's called Grosjean. So, what happened is, when I started getting very good in that season, halfway through, Haas, because the team did their own stuff, because you were just a driver, they didn't have my team as such, they just had a general career mode, they got rid of Grosjean, and brought in Perez. And Perez brought with him his 60 or so points from... Where would he have been in 2019? Racing Point? Or Force India, or whatever they were. The pink team. Pink Panthers. So, yeah. And he brought the points with us, and I think then we were able to win the Constructors Championship as well, because he brought them points, because Grosjean wasn't winning any points. He brought over the 60 and was a good driver and scored more points. That's not how it works in real life F1 and not how it works in this game. So even though we've technically lost 3 points, the difference between Norris and Leclerc, and that's why I chose someone around that time. I didn't want to poach the other Ferrari driver because I thought we'd end up with the same thing at the end of Season 2. He'd want to leave, and I don't know, we might end up with the front-running Ferraris in Alfa, which would be quite funny. We'd end up with... fuck knows, in the actual Ferrari team. They can't go much worse at the minute, as you can see from the standings on your screen. Yeah, we got Lando Norris, we bid for him, we won him. Now, obviously, let me get my information. Let's get my F1 moves. So mid-season, Leclerc quits us and moves to Alfa Romeo, because apparently they're a better driver than us, even though we were fighting for a championship, and Alfa Romeo with 2 points really aren't. And he's joining Alfa Romeo with Raikkonen still. Norris moves from McLaren to Wangernumb. Bottas then has moved from Alfa Romeo to McLaren. Which is a sensible move, and he seems to have done quite a few Let's Plays I've seen on the internet. Bottas ends up at McLaren, which, let's just say, the first race of the 2022 season, I fucked that up, has gone. I bet he's glad that he's moved to Alfa and not McLaren. And then Marcus Armstrong, our original teammate from Season 1, moves back to F1. He had half of the season off, and he goes to Ferrari instead of Guanyu Zhou, or Zhou Guanyu, however we're pronouncing him this week. And Zhou has no seat, so if we scroll down, we can see he's grayed out, unfortunately. Because he hasn't scored any points yet, Marcus Armstrong, or been in a race, should I say, not scored points, because, Jesus, he's there. Now, if we compare, I'm going to compare Marcus and Zhou first. If I go to corporate, scroll down a fair way. So Zhou, as a free agent, 38 experience, 68 race, 69 nice awareness, 75 73 focus. Armstrong has less experience, apparently, even though he had a full season. Zhou only had 2, but never mind. His race pace is worse. The only thing he's good at is pace. and he's good focus. So maybe that's what they want him for, and the acclaim is higher. Or maybe he's just got acclaim because of Ferrari. His if you're a free agent, your base salary is awful, and then so yeah, okay. So yeah, and then if we compare Leclerc to Norris, so the reason why I went for Norris, as I was saying, is because of the points tally, just in case. But if we have a look, so Leclerc, overall rating of Norris is much higher. So with Leclerc last time, we had a few things near 100%, but nothing was 100%, and his focus was quite low, and I spent a lot of money trying to get his focus back up. If you look at them as raw drivers, so ignore the green bonuses, 64 experience versus 66 of Leclerc, not a massive difference. Race massively higher for Norris. Again, we're ignoring the green. Awareness, again, massively better, and pace is near enough. And then, of course, he's got higher focus. So this is definitely an upgrade. And of course, with the bonuses, 74. I think we had the same experience bonus on Leclerc, so the leaving out, but it's the same difference. Race, 100%. Awareness, 100%. Or 100 points, should I say. That's the max you can go up to. And then pace is 96, which, again, certainly isn't bad. And his focus is high. I'm fairly sure when you get to 75 or 76, you get green focus. If you have a look at Max Verstappen there at 78. So I think this was a good trade. And in fact, maybe I should have done that instead of just going, quick, just while you've got him, quick, redo it. I have to turn the audio off in the game, by the way, don't panic about that. So yeah, I think overall we've had an upgrade. All the other teams have had a bit of a weird situation. I think McLaren have possibly done the best they can do, because I know Bottas is all the way down here, but he was in an Alfa Romeo. Good in 2022, but in 2021, not so much. I've just yeeted my microphone. Very apologies. Now, for the actual game itself, I've decided to knock down the difficulty again. So I upped it by 10, and at the same time, Mercedes upgraded themselves. And I think it must be their powertrain, because McLaren have also started doing really well. If you look at the season results, if you look at the Norris did about the same, but Ricciardo's gone from 4 and 8 to 2 and 5. You know, they have moved up, and the Mercs have moved up as well. Giovinazzi even winning a race. So the Red Bulls got better. The Mercedes got better, because it used to be when I moved the difficulty up, Red Bull, then not very far behind us, and then actually Mercedes below. Mercedes then jumped to the top of the chart. If we look at that, you can see what we mean. Red Bull have then jumped Mercedes again. There's lots of development happening. So what I've done is, instead of doing a 10 jump, I've never done a 10 jump before, I've done it 5, and we'll see how we go. If I'm still winning everything and I feel it's too easy, we'll have a look at raising it by another 5, maybe, then at the same point, maybe only 3 or whatever. We'll work it out as it goes on, because I don't want to just walk away with it, but also I don't want to lose out on a chance, considering this is probably my last chance because of when F1 2022 is coming out. There we are. There's marketing. The marketing department is only spec 1. That's what I didn't like. Well, good, because it's better. But we need to, when we've got the money to upgrade stuff, which I don't think we have. Okay, we need to do really well in this next race, because otherwise we're going to be penniless. So yeah, I've knocked down the difficulty. We'll see how things go. I kind of balance the difficulty with how good cars are. You know, as my cars got better and moved up, I've also moved the difficulty up to keep it about the same difficulty. But it's like that jump. Another thing in the difficulty menu, if I go to menu here, and I go to settings, and I go to career settings, is it? No. Simulation settings. It's the difficulty. I'm at expert difficulty at the minute. I was 80, then I went up to 90. I'm now at 85. If I go up to 90 where I was, now it's master. So there is like a set jump there. I can have it to 85 if it's too easy, because it's still expert. Then I'll move it to 89 and see where we go from there. But yeah, what are our current goals? Well, now I've changed stuff around. If we look at our standings, I still want to try and win the Drivers' Championship, and that's still very much within our scope. I would even say that Lewis Hamilton isn't out of it yet. And in terms of constructors, it depends how Lando Norris gets on, ultimately. I want to be first or second. That depends on Lando Norris. And obviously myself a bit, but more how Lando Norris gets on. If he's in 13th and 14th every race, not good enough. But I want him to be better than Leclerc, because he abandoned us. And I want us to be first or second. I'd like to win, but if not, close to the Red Bull. And for this next weekend that's coming up, as I record this, I'm recording this Friday, I think. The race will be the 100th numbered episode. So this, as you might notice, does not have a number in the title, because I don't want it to count towards this 100, because otherwise it makes the 100th episode the practice for this weekend, which isn't great. But no, it's the 100th episode this weekend. So what I'm going to do, so when, for example, Matty212 did it, he did a 100% race. But I already do 100% races because I'm a god. I thought about, well, should I try and do more and more? So, like, turn some AI stuff off, have a formation lab, things like that. To be honest with you, it was unlikely for me to do that anyway. And also the fact that I'm slightly worried about how the last 2 races have gone. I've got a little bit of catching up to do. So, what I'm going to do for definite is actually edit the race. So, instead of it being 1.5 hours long, kind of, where it's just like a normal lap when all happens, that gets cut out, and you sort of get like a highlights more than the full race, and we'll see how that goes. This channel, I think, has been shadow banned by YouTube, and that's why nothing ever gets views on it anymore. I am experimenting possibly with a new channel. The podcast might be going there. Actually, that starts getting views, and I know this one's been shadow banned. I'll keep this, because my original channel, I'll keep this for watching stuff, and then I might slowly move stuff over to this new channel if it actually gets views, because it's not been shadow banned. So yeah, it's going to get fully edited, at least the race. I'm not sure about practice and qualifying, and the other one that I've forgotten, the post-admin thing. To be fair, that's so short, it doesn't really matter about that one getting edited. It's more the practice and qualifying, if I do that or not. I'm probably going to edit the race, see if I get fed up with it. That's my minimum that I'm going to set myself. And if I really hate that, because it's going to be my first big edit in DaVinci Resolve, so we'll see how that goes. And we'll just see. I've been recording for a good 13 minutes, which I think is about long enough for you. Just a bit of a mid-season update on how F1 and stuff's going. So, yeah, how are you watching? I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.